In a Second Amendment gun control case challenging the country's ban on bump stocks. Those are the attachments which essentially convert semi-automatic rifles into automatic rifles. The Trump administration, you'll remember, issuing the ban following the horrific mass shooting in Las Vegas back in 2017 when Stephen Paddock used weapons fitted with bump stocks to open fire on a country music festival, killing 58 people and wounding hundreds more. The owner of a gun store in Texas challenging that ban. So this is a rare case of the Biden administration defending a decision by the Trump administration. And just moments ago, the court ruling the ban is unlawful. Let's get right to ABC's senior national correspondent Terry Moran at the Supreme Court. Terry, as we pointed out here, that rare case, it had some bipartisan support, but the Supreme Court says no, it's against the law.
That's right. This is essentially striking down what the Trump administration tried to do after the shooting in Las Vegas that killed 60 people back in 2017. The shooter in that case used one of these bump stocks, and this opinion really gets into the guts of a firearm, of a rifle, and how it works to draw a distinction between a machine gun, which have been illegal in the United States since 1934, and that 1934 law defines a machine gun as a weapon that fires more than one shot with a single function of the trigger. And a bump stock, which is not the same thing, according to the plaintiffs and now the Supreme Court of the United States. A bump stock uses the recoil of the rifle and the shooter's own manipulation of that pressure to achieve a very high rate of fire. The trigger continues to discharge the projectile every single shot. So it's not the same thing. I mean, right here in black and white, it's an opinion by Clarence Thomas. He says, we conclude that a semi-automatic rifle equipped with a bump stock is not a machine gun because it does not fire more than one shot by a single function of the trigger. Those words from that 1934 law. Now, the dissenters in this case said, well, the point of the function of the trigger was not how it works inside the gun. It's what comes out the end of the barrel. You can achieve a massive torrent of fire with both weapons, and they thought that this regulation passed during the Trump administration would cover both. But the Supreme Court says no, and so bump stocks, and there are hundreds of thousands of Americans who had them. They were ordered to surrender them or destroy them. Bump stocks are now legal once again in the United States of America.